Properties destroyed as fire gulls popular Karu market in Abuja. ASU Jos warns of impending strike over unmet demands. Junior officers protest as Nigerian Correctional Service makes new uniform mandatory for promotion exam. Another foreign scene, new wave of evacuations in Gaza amid intensified bombing. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. Now the news. The popular Karu market in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has been gutted by fire while goods worth millions of naira were destroyed. The fire was said to have started at about 7 p.m. on Thursday when the traders had closed for the day. Meanwhile, firefighters from Karu and Yanya were said to have arrived at the scene to put out the fire. It was gathered that the firefighters' vehicles in Karu ran out of water, thereby forcing them to call for backup. The cause of the fire is not yet ascertained. An aged mother of the famous Hausa singer Dauda Adamu Rarara Hajia Halima Adamu has been abducted. She was abducted on Thursday at her residence in Kahutu village, Danja local government area of Katsina State. According to the eyewitness, the bandits stormed the village around 1 a.m. yesterday and abducted the aged woman. The famous Hausa singer is yet to comment on the incident. The Kaduna State Police Command has conducted its largest parade to date, showcasing over 1,000 suspects alleged to have committed various offences. During the parade, the Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, Ali Dabigi, alongside the Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, emphasized the command's commitment to thoroughly root out criminal elements within the state. Here's the report.
Blessing Ango and Annabel John, 2 point-of-sale operators who have both been defrauded of over ₦1 million, shared their experiences as the Kaduna State Police Command paraded over 1,000 suspects, including those who defrauded them.
He came to my shop that he wants to withdraw with army uniform. So when I turned back, I carried my bag, I carried my POS, I wanted to withdraw for him. He now removed knife that I should give him that my bag that is with money inside. I should give him my bag. I refused. I was dragging. He now removed the knife. He wanted to choke me the knife and now scream. I shout, "Thief, oh, help me, help me."
He put on army clothes. He picked my bag and money inside, and my item was worth 800,000.
I'm fascinating as a military man, so that I can collect money from POS people in sabotation.
Go ahead.
That is what I do.
Tell us how do you operate?
I will disguise myself as a military man, and after them trusting me, then I will collect their property.
The suspect paraded include 73 armed robbery suspects, 70 kidnappers, 9 bandits, 989 phone snatchers, as well as several suspects specializing in defrauding POS operators.
5 months ago, that is when we collaborate together with them. So when we move from a hotel to another hotel, before we move to the hotel, we will communicate between ourselves, then and make an arrangement of the time. After making arrangement, that is when we meet and go for the operation.
I bought the AK-47 rifle from Jos, and I was to deliver it to one Rayanu in Katsina, but I was arrested at night in Zaria. In another significant breakthrough, the police arrested a woman transporting approximately 2,000 rounds of ammunition to bandits, leading to the capture of 9 bandits involved in the syndicate. The Commissioner of Police, Ali Dabigi, and Commissioner of Internal Security, Samuel Arwan, attributed the success of the operations to the collaboration with other sister agencies and called for continued cooperation.
Abin da yasa na shiga hannun ma'aikata, abin da ne aka kama ni da shi alburushi.
I was arrested because of the ammunition found in my possession. I transported ammunition to the forest 3 times. A man called Wawo brought me a bag which he said was a fertilizer, and I gave it to a driver who took them to Katsina. The second time, I took them to Katsina where I slept. This time around, I was arrested with the arms. They pay me 50,000 naira for each trip, and I usually deliver them at Dan Musa.
Operatives acting on intelligence report intercepted and arrested one Aisha Abubakar. She says she's a married woman. She is 25 years, from Kubwa, Abuja. She was found with 550 rounds of AK-47 live ammunition. We call it 7.62 live. Which she collected from a man named Mohammed from Loko, Nasarawa State, and was transporting the ammunition from Nasarawa to Katsina State. She was intercepted here in Kaduna based on credible intelligence.
Indeed impressed, and we're also happy with the hard work that the Kaduna State Police Command is putting in ensuring that we contain this situation. You can see for yourselves, you can see 1,817 rounds of AK-47 live ammunition. Imagine if this has slipped its way to bandits.
The command also commended community members for providing valuable information leading to the arrest of suspects and assured them of confidentiality. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Senate has denied granting approval for the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima. According to the Senate, the clarification became imperative following false reports that President Tinubu was seeking the National Assembly's approval of funds for the purchase of a new presidential jet. Here's more.
The Nigerian Senate has denied approving the purchase of new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima as speculated. There were reports that President Tinubu was seeking the National Assembly's approval of funds for the purchase of a new presidential jet. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during Thursday's emergency plenary session clarified that there is the presence of a fifth columnist doing everything possible to destabilize the parliament. The President of the Senate said this in corroboration of observations raised by the leader of the Senate, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, that the Senate purports to give backing towards the procurement of a new presidential aircraft.
It had never been discussed either on the floor of this Senate or among individual senators or at the executive's closed session. There is no such request. If the request comes, it's not about Mr. President of the Senate alone. It's for 469 elected representatives of the Nigerian people.
I was in Zanzibar attending to inter-parliamentary union meetings when that information went out that the Senate President has said he will approve a brand new plan for the President irrespective of whether there is suffering or no suffering.
The senators had cut short their recess, which was to elapse on July 2nd, 2024, and returned for an emergency session to consider a bill for an act to amend the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Act to further extend its implementation to December 31st, 2024, as requested by President Tinubu.
To education matters, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU University of Jos branch, has called on the federal government to urgently attend to its pressing issues to avert another strike action by academic staff in the tertiary institutions. Members of the union gave the warning during a town hall meeting held at the union secretariat in Jos to address lingering issues between the ASU and the federal government. The meeting was held in collaboration with its sister unions in the university, students' union, government, parents, traders unions and other stakeholders to sensitize the public on government's lackluster attitude towards the union's demands. Some of the union's demands include a revisit of anti-Marxist policies, exiting the union from the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System (IPPIS), returning to renegotiation and signing the NIMI breaks report. Students of tertiary institutions, especially universities in Benue State, have appealed to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the federal government to resolve differences in order to ensure that academic activities are not halted in public universities. They made the appeal following calls by ASU for another strike action over unmet demands. Jimmy Azande tells us more.
While some of the students are saying ASU's continued resort to strike is not the best option for negotiating welfare issues, others, however, feel the government is not keeping up with its obligations to the universities, hence the cause for strike.
The houses. ASU, without finalizing with the government, will cause students to come back. All this involves money, and then you and I know the situation, the current situation of things in the country right now. So, calling us to go on strike, calling us back without finalizing, and then embarking on another strike. In this case, I want to put the blame on ASU because they are not considering the welfare and then the condition of things on the part of the students.
And on our side, the students, we are the ones suffering it. The government is supposed to do the needful in order for the people to be peace. If what they are supposed to give to the workers they are not giving, it won't be good at all. They should try and do the right thing so that everything will be in order.
Others are worried about the consequences of another strike action and urge ASU and the federal government to sort out all lingering issues once and for all.
They should consider that students are suffering on the other part. They are suffering. Some have paid for their rentage and is going to be expired. And some, in one way or the other, are being affected by a lot of things. Some are final year students. They were to get some jobs, but because this strike is going on, they can't graduate on time. So ASU should consider, they should go on negotiation. A lasting solution should be provided so that we will not be experiencing consistent strike.
Why will ASU allow us to go home after they are discussing with the federal government? They will still tell us to come back after we have spent a lot to come back. Without being finalizing anything with the government, they will decide to call the students to come back and continue with the academics. After coming back, they are now telling us to still go back on strike again. I think this is not fair. ASU should go on strike and then conclude everything with the federal government. If the agreement is not reached, they should not call us to resume. If the agreement is not reached with the federal government, they should just allow us to stay home. When they finalize everything with the federal government by reaching the agreement they think is the best for us and for them, they should allow us to come back and continue with our studies in peace.
At the moment, the students are jittery as another indefinite strike by the university teaching staff in Nigeria looms. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
There is currently disquiet among the junior officers of the Nigerian Correctional Service over the failure of the authorities to provide them with the service's new uniform free as they did for their senior colleagues. The affected officers have also raised their alarm over the decision of the authorities to make the wearing of the new uniform a condition for them to take part in a promotion examination scheduled for between Monday, July 1 and Saturday, July 6, 2024. Some of the affected personnel noted that in uniformed organizations, the rank and files get uniform free, but the phase-out reverse is the case in the NCOS. One of the officers said the NCOS changed its uniform in 2019, and since then, there has been a gradual phase-out of the old uniform. The Lagos State government has issued a 2-week registration notice to all public transport drivers as it releases the restructuring plans to improve commuting experience. Speaking at a meeting with bus operators and union leaders in the state, the special advisor to the governor on transportation, Shola Giwa, said the move aligned with the strategic transportation master plan for Lagos State. Giwa described the current state of bus operations on the corridor as chaotic, hence the need for collaboration to successfully regulate and integrate the informal transport sector into the state's bus reform initiative using Lekki-Ekpe corridor as a pilot test. He further explained that the Lekki-Ekpe corridor had been inspected by the Ministry of Transportation and Lagos Metropolitan Transport Authority to identify limitations of seamless traffic flow along the expressway and adjoining roads, and had mapped out systematic framework to address these challenges. This is the news update on Trust TV. Up ahead, Katsina State records 118 suspected cases of cholera. More news when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us and just joining us. The news update on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Properties destroyed as fire got popular Karu market in Abuja. ASU Jos warns of impending strike over unmet demands. The Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency, SMEDEN, says it is partnering the Katsina State government to develop small businesses as a way of boosting the economy. SMEDEN disclosed this at a commemorative event marking this year's International Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day, which is usually marked on the 27th of June every year. Here's more of the story.
27th of June every year is a day set to celebrate micro, small and medium enterprises. These businesses, often the backbone of a nation's economy, play a crucial role in job creation and development. According to experts, micro businesses alone contribute to over 50% of Nigeria's GDP. This highlights the urgent need to empower these often overlooked engines of growth.
We all know that no meaningful development can take place in any nation without proper support given to the MSMEs. They contribute about 50% to our national GDP as it stands, and they employ almost 80 to 90% of current workforce in the country.
This year, the Katsina State government is partnering the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency, SMEDEN, to celebrate the day. Governor Ratna, who also chairs as the Katsina State Enterprise Development Agency, emphasized the importance of empowering small businesses, whom he said holds the key to economic development in the future.
And I'm also standing here not only as a governor but as an entrepreneur, as also as a father of MSME in this country. We have no reason to fail because we are to tell each and every person how important MSME is in the life of the economic development of this country.
The newly remodeled Industrial Development Center and MSME business clinics serve as testaments to his commitment.
Our administrations acknowledge the role of artisans and craftsmen play in institutionalizing the desired change needed to remove our youth off the street. This is why we are not only investing heavily in building and scaling up their skills and capacity, but providing a shared facilities for them to optimize their production.
These facilities provide crucial support and resources, creating a nurturing ecosystem for businesses to thrive. Start-up business owners and local artisans echoed the governor's sentiments.
To certainly help strengthening the local economy of the state. Like myself, I'm now established a fertilizer factory, blending factory, made in Katsina, for Katsina, and by Katsina people.
They believe this ecosystem will be a game changer, allowing their businesses to flourish. Jamil Mobay, Trust TV, Katsina.
Still in Katsina State, but on health matters, the government says it has recorded no fewer than 118 suspected cases of cholera disease across the state. To this end, the state government says it is adopting strategies to prevent the spread of the disease and other vaccines preventable outbreaks across the state. Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
This is not the first time the state government is coming out to announce outbreaks of diseases, but this latest pronouncement appears more serious due to the danger cholera poses whenever it strikes. The Katsina State Primary Health Care Agency officials appeared a bit disturbed, saying they are fully prepared to cut short the spread of the epidemic and manage cases already recorded. Beyond that, the government said it has activated its incident management system to effectively tame the scourge in the next couple of days.
When you have disease, normally one of the best practice globally is the activation of incident management system. And this system entails a coordinated approach using different strategies. One of the best strategies that we use is issue of strengthening surveillance, which I've already discussed, issue of detecting cases promptly, then other issues of laboratory. We have groups that are in charge of that. Others is infection prevention and control. We want to ensure that this infection, if it happens, it doesn't really spread.
Though no life has been lost following the outbreak, the government says 34 comprehensive health centers with cholera treatment units and centers have been designated for admission and treatment of the victims. The incidents manager director in the Katsina State Primary Health Care Agency, Karu Suleiman, said, beside this, the government is also looking at some alternatives such as improvement in wash facilities, solarization and rehabilitation of boreholes across the state.
Katsina, as you are aware, is one of the states that is termed as high risk for cholera based on the global task force on GTFCC, the global task force for cholera control. Katsina has 10 of its LGAs that are termed very high risk. Funtua, Jibia, Bazari, and to mention a few. So these are areas that we're really focusing. We have designated 34 comprehensive health centers for receiving for admission of cases of cholera.
Global Task Force for Cholera Control shows that Katsina has 10 of its local government areas termed as high risk, with Funtua, Bazari, and Jibia topping the list. Public commentators view this task as challenging, considering the fact that more than half of the local government areas in Katsina State are prone to insecurity. Abdullahi Izuma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And away from Nigeria, many fled from areas in Gaza City on Thursday following an Israeli evacuation order and intensified bombing. The Israeli military issued new evacuation orders for neighborhoods heavily targeted and largely emptied earlier in the conflict, including Shijaya and surrounding areas. Atef, one of the displaced residents, described the chaotic scene. He said the missiles reached them and houses were struck on top of their owners. The latest wave of bombing follows heavy attacks on Gaza City in the initial weeks of the conflict, which began with Hamas's unexpected assault on Israel on October 7. Despite President William Ruto's decision to abandon his increased plan, nationwide protests calling for his resignation were held in Nairobi on Thursday. Protesters briefly stormed and set fire to part of the parliament building. At least 2 people lost their lives during clashes with the national police. In his 2 years in power, President William Ruto is facing his most severe crisis. William Ruto decided not to sign the proposed finance bill after it caused deadly chaos in the capital. And in sports, Nigeria Wrestling Federation (NWF) has said that the overseas campaign stage for its wrestlers' preparations for the 2024 Paris Olympics will begin on Monday in Saarbrücken, Germany. NWF President Daniel Igali revealed this on Thursday in Ibadan, saying the overseas training would follow the ongoing local campaign in Yanogwa, which will end on Sunday. Igali assured that Mutua was being monitored closely, and so far the NWF was impressed with what he was doing. He also said Adekuroye has done a lot of training in respect of pace and strengthening. Still ahead of the Olympics, the manager of the Spanish team on Wednesday released the list of players for the Asian Games. Nigeria-born Samuel Omorodon featured prominently on the list. The Atletico Madrid forward was born in Melilla, Spain, to Nigerian parents. The coach listed 22 players, which also includes the duo of Fermin Lopez and Alejandro Baena, who are representing Spain at the ongoing Euro 2024. Omorodio's performance with Getafe last season attracted several suitors, including English Premier League side Chelsea. The lanky attacker is still eligible to represent Nigeria Super Eagles in future engagements. And with that, we've come to the end of news updates at this hour. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, please do well to follow us on our social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I'm Chiamaka Nwafo. On behalf of the news production team, thank you for joining us.